For years, the Xbox Series X has been a monolith of performance, a quiet, powerful black box that just gets the job done. But now, Sony has fired its mid-generation salvo, the PlayStation 5 Pro. This isn't just a slimmed-down model or a minor spec bump. It's a direct challenge to the throne, a statement piece of hardware designed to redefine what we expect from console gaming. So let's cut through the noise and the fanboy arguments. At a glance, the tale of the tape. Before we dive into the technical weeds, let's lay the cards on the table. Think of this as the top-line summary, the specs you see on the back of the box, but with a bit more context. The Xbox Series X, released back in November 2020, established a high bar with its custom 8-core AMD Zen 2 processor running at a steady 3.8 GHz and a GPU based on AMD's RDNA 2 architecture, pushing out 12 teraflops of graphical compute power. 1. It was, and still is, a beast. Sony's PS5 Pro, arriving in November 2024, uses a similar 8-core Zen 2 CPU, but with a twist. It has a higher variable frequency that can reach up to 3.85 GHz. The real story, the headline act, is the GPU. The Pro packs a custom RDNA 3 graphics unit that absolutely dwarfs the Series X, boasting a staggering 33.5 teraflops. Both systems come loaded with 16 GB of GDDR6 RAM and a 1 TB custom NVMe SSD for lightning-fast storage. But even here, there are subtle, important differences. The PS5 Pro's memory system has a higher total bandwidth at 576 GB per second, while the Xbox Series X uses a split system. On paper, one machine clearly has more muscle, but specs on a sheet don't play games. The real difference emerges in how that power is used, how it translates to the screen, and what it means for the games you'll be playing for years to come. That's where this comparison truly begins. The core of the matter: processing and graphics. Let's get straight to the heart of it. The processor, the CPU, is the brain of the operation, handling game logic, physics, and AI. Both the PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X use what is effectively the same AMD Zen 2 CPU architecture. The Xbox locks its cores at 3.8 GHz, a consistent and reliable speed. The PS5 Pro opts for a slightly higher boost clock of 3.85 GHz. What does this mean for you? Honestly, not a whole lot in most scenarios. The difference is marginal. You might see a tiny improvement in games that are heavily reliant on the CPU, like massive strategy games or complex simulations, but for the vast majority of titles, the CPU performance will feel virtually identical. Neither machine has a meaningful advantage here. They are both built on a solid, proven foundation. Now, let's talk about the GPU. This is where the script flips completely, and it's the entire reason the PS5 Pro exists. The GPU is what draws the world you see on screen, from the shimmer of light on water to the detail in a character's face. The Xbox Series X's 12 teraflops of RDNA 2 power is still incredibly capable. It has delivered stunning 4K visuals and high frame rates for years, but the PS5 Pro's 33.5 teraflops of RDNA 3 power is a different class entirely. It's not just a bigger number, it's a newer, more efficient architecture. Here's what that leap in power actually means for gaming. First, ray tracing. Ray tracing is a sophisticated technique that simulates how light behaves in the real world, creating ultra-realistic reflections, shadows, and lighting. It's incredibly demanding on the hardware. While the Series X can do ray tracing, it often requires a compromise, like lowering the resolution or targeting 30 frames per second. The PS5 Pro's massive GPU overhead is designed to handle intensive ray tracing at high resolutions and high frame rates simultaneously. 2 games designated as PS5 Pro Enhanced will look fundamentally more realistic, with lighting that feels natural and immersive rather than simulated. Second, frame rates. For many gamers, a smooth 60 frames per second is the holy grail. The Series X targets this well, but can sometimes dip in visually chaotic scenes. The PS5 Pro has the raw horsepower to lock in at 60 FPS in even the most demanding titles, and to more consistently push for 120 FPS performance modes, which is a game changer for competitive shooters and fast-paced action games. Bottom line, While the CPUs are evenly matched, the GPU difference is a knockout. The PS5 Pro has a generational advantage in graphical capability, and it will show on screen. Memory and storage, the unsung heroes. Speed isn't just about the processor, it's about how quickly data can be moved around. This is where memory and storage become critical. Both consoles pack 16 GB of GDDR6 memory, but they implement it differently. Microsoft went with a split memory pool for the Xbox Series X, 10 GB of high-speed memory for the GPU, and 6 GB of slightly slower memory for the OS and other tasks for. It's an efficient design that gets the job done. Sony, with the PS5 Pro, opted for a unified pool of 16 GB, all accessible to both the CPU and GPU, running at a higher total bandwidth of 576 GB per second compared to the Xbox's primary 560 GB per second pool. Let me explain why this matters. A unified, higher bandwidth system gives developers more flexibility. They don't have to manage two separate memory pools and can move large assets, like high-resolution textures, more freely. This can lead to richer, more detailed game worlds with less potential for bottlenecks. It's a subtle but important architectural advantage for the PS5 Pro. Then there's storage. Both machines made slow hard drives a thing of the past with their custom 1TB NVMe SSDs. Load screens that once lasted minutes now take seconds. This is a foundational improvement for modern gaming on both platforms. The real divergence is in how you expand that storage. Microsoft created proprietary expansion cards that perfectly replicate the speed and performance of the internal drive. They are simple, plug and play, but they are also expensive and lock you into a single manufacturer. Sony took a more open approach. The PS5 Pro has a standard M.2 slot, allowing you to buy a compatible NVMe SSD from a variety of third-party brands. 5. This fosters competition, which drives down prices and gives you more choice. It requires a bit more work. You have to open the console and install the drive yourself, but the long-term flexibility and cost savings are a significant win for consumers. The verdict: power versus value. So after all that, which one should you buy? There's no single right answer, because these two consoles are ultimately aimed at two different kinds of players. It's a classic battle of philosophy. The Xbox Series X remains an incredible machine and a phenomenal value. If you are a gamer who wants access to a huge variety of games without breaking the bank, Game Pass is an undeniable force. The hardware is more than capable of delivering beautiful, fast 4K gaming experiences. It's the practical, smart choice for someone who wants to play everything. The PlayStation 5 Pro, on the other hand, is an unapologetic performance machine. It is for the gamer who craves the highest possible fidelity, who wants to see every ray-traced reflection and play at the smoothest possible frame rate. The massive GPU advantage isn't just a number on a spec sheet, it's a promise of a more visually spectacular and technically advanced gaming experience for the years to come. Combined with Sony's masterful exclusives and the unique immersion of the DualSense controller, it makes a powerful case for being the definitive place to play for those who are willing to pay for the absolute best. Here's the bottom line. If your decision is driven by budget and access to a vast library of games, the Xbox Series X and Game Pass are an unbeatable combination. But if your priority is pure, unadulterated graphical power, and you want to experience the most technically impressive versions of games, the PlayStation 5 Pro is the new king of the hill. The choice isn't about which box is better, but which philosophy of gaming better aligns with you.